So everybody knows the story from Aesop's fables of the tortoise and the hare. And I would like to add another contestant to that race, and that contestant would be me. If there was a race between a tortoise and a hare and me, I would not win. In fact, I would lose to both the tortoise and the hare. You know, the tortoise just moved slow and steady. And we've all heard the expression that slow and steady wins the race, and that is true from that fable. And then you had the hare who was just wanting to hurry and get everything done and rush. And then there's me. I'm one of those people who are so easily distracted by things. And I know there's a lot of people like that. But one of the things I have to do is I have to make myself focus, literally. I'll be working on the computer, I'll be doing these lessons, and a text will come up on my phone, or a notification, or something else, so I check that, then I check this, and then I remember something I forgot to do downstairs, so I run and do that, and then I remember something else, and it's constantly, it's not even the distractions that many people have, which are outside distractions. Mine are internal distractions. A lot of times, adults or parents will have their kids asking, for this or for that, or just the phone constantly ringing, and different distractions. Me, I'm just all over the place all the time, and I have to make myself focus. And that's one of the differences between just practicing and practicing on purpose, and making a time and making a place where you won't be so distracted, where maybe it's when your kids are already in bed, or maybe it's when the grandkids go home, or it's this or it's that, but you have to actually make yourself, I heard somebody say there's a million reasons not to do something. And that's true. We can make excuses. I've heard people, well, it's, I got too much going on, I got the kids, I got this, I got that. And I understand that. And you can come up, even if you didn't have that, you can come up with a million other reasons not to do something. But it's really good to make yourself focus, to practice on purpose, to find a specific time that works good for you when the distractions are lower, a specific place where you could lock yourself in a room and make yourself practice. Because if you just leave it up to when you have time, you probably won't practice at all. The other part of the story is, if I would be distracted, if I were in that race, the turtle would long beat me, no matter how slow it went, because I'd be off here and there, and that I'd forget there was a race going on. The rabbit would be too fast, and even if the rabbit fell asleep, as he did in the fable, I'd still be off walking around. But the problem is, too many people, if they don't have the distracted problem, they have the rabbit problem. And that is, I have to learn this, and I have to learn it now, and I have to learn it quick, and I just want to learn a song, I want to learn a song. And most people really don't care about learning. I remember a show that was on several years ago where they gave somebody $1 million to accomplish a task that they've never done before. And one of the ones that really stick out in my mind was a person who had never sat down at a piano, never touched a piano, and they had 1 week to learn something like Beethoven's Fifth. And I do believe they won. They had to play it note for note perfect, because somebody came in, they had a tutor, an instructor, and taught them to play just that song. But if you asked them to play even a simple chord, they couldn't do that. They wouldn't understand it. They had to play another song, they couldn't do that. So learning to play an instrument, learning to play songs are two different things. Yes, the end result would be to learn songs. But a lot of people that's all they want to do, and they want to do it fast. We're our biggest enemy, because if we don't learn something quickly, we get discouraged, and if we learn something slowly, we feel like we're a failure, or we feel like we're not smart enough or good enough. And we're our own biggest enemy when it comes to that. There is nothing wrong with slowing down. In the lessons, I have recommended several times for people to watch the entire video and let the learning sink in, because it will make the learning experience much more enjoyable. Here's the downside to that. The downside is it takes longer. The downside is you have to sit and watch something when you want to be doing something. But I've also had many, many people write on YouTube with comments saying, you know something, I took your advice, I watched the entire video, then I went back, and it did really work. It made the learning experience much more easier, much more enjoyable, and I was able to grasp the concepts better and where we were going. And it's just slow and steady wins the race. It is not a race to learn an instrument. It's not even a race to learn a song. I have said in these lessons in the past, and I've mentioned it in the lessons, to enjoy the journey. And, you know, I've applied that to my own life in other areas. I think I've even mentioned this, but I remember sitting in traffic and just becoming aggravated because I couldn't figure out why we were at a standstill. And I still can't figure that out at times in my traveling. Sometimes we will just come to a dead stop and there's no accident, there's no construction. It's like, what was that? And I get all aggravated. But since I've been telling people to slow down, to enjoy the journey, I've done that myself. And as I'm sitting in traffic, starting to get aggravated, that will come to my mind. I'll convict myself. That will come to my mind, and I will actually slow down. I will, flip on a radio, turn on the CD, and I'll start relaxing. Because what's the difference if I'm sitting in traffic? I'm going to be on time anyhow. Why get aggravated? But we do that with music. We do that same thing. We get so discouraged if we can't learn it quickly. And I've said this many, many times, we are our own biggest enemy. We quit because we mentally think we have to do this quickly. And I've heard people do that with kids. They get aggravated, not necessarily at the kids, but they get aggravated because kids pick stuff up so quickly and they don't. So what? So what? What you want to do is slow down, enjoy the journey, enjoy the learning process, let it sink in. So I hope this has encouraged you. I hope it's encouraged you not to let yourself get distracted, to practice on purpose, and then secondly, to slow down. So I hope that's helped, and I will see you on a lesson coming up very soon. Have a good day.